So just please maybe let me know if there are 2 minutes missing or I'm going too long. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for your service. So actually my sobriety day is the 3rd of April 2020, but I entered AA on the 2019. And I was 33 when I decided to join the fellowship. And actually for the first months, I was going to meeting and I was still drinking. For my point of view, accepting to be an alcoholic was very, very hard. It takes me a very long time. And it takes me a long time to enter AA and to decide to join a meeting. For the first months, I used to enter the room with another name, which was actually my second name, because I wasn't feeling like I can really trust these people or I can really say something about me that it's true. So I was just going there and listening, and yeah. It was difficult, but it was useful at the very beginning because I was just there sitting and listening, and for me it was enough to come back and to start joining the fellowship, and little by little to get some number and start calling people. But I was still drinking, and after the lockdown came, and we were locked in our house for a very long time. And I remember myself on March 2020, I was drinking all the time, and I was not going to meeting, of course, because everything was still blocked and we didn't have this amazing Zoom meeting that arrived quite late. And yeah, I was just there and sitting on my bed and pretty much drinking all the time, because also the company I was working for was was struggling. So we were in this cassa integrazione and I was not doing anything. And then yeah, I start going to meeting online because my own group, my first group actually, start doing this meeting online. And yeah, by going on this meeting online, I start following people and going in another meeting, and then finally after a few months, yeah, I just start my 24 hours on the 3rd of April 2020. And at the very beginning, I was just going to meeting every day because I was at home, and I was just trying to stay sober and to listen to people and to share my story and what I was. And little by little came a sponsor, a first sponsor. I had a first sponsor. Then after 3 months, I decided she wasn't the one for me. Then I changed. And after a while, my second sponsor as well got sick. So actually his sponsor took me as a sponsee, and then I started working with him in the program. And yeah, something changed, definitely changed. What for me was very important was really this lockdown at the very beginning, because when I was going to this meeting, the physical meeting at the very beginning in the Italian meeting, I was sitting over there and just listening to people, and was very useful, of course, but nobody was really working the program and carrying the message. We were just sharing a lot, and I was there, and I'm really thankful, because actually for them I was able to stay sober during the first months, and to join other meeting, and then to find a sponsor, and to really start working the program. And yeah, what I think is change in me, it's that I stopped being a self improvement project, and I really start being a self-acceptance project. I think that I spend my whole life trying to be the best, because I always try to achieve the best grade, the best position at work, the best of the best. And it was always about, I can work this, I can do this, I'm sure I will make it. And now it's more like, um, I can accept this, I can really leave this and let it go. And that's what really changed also in my life, because I was putting so much pressure on myself before entering this program, and now I just leave, and I really accept whatever it comes, like exactly what the best things I can have. And I know that the fact of finally accepting that there is something bigger than me, finally take myself out of the picture. And I think this is really a program in which you become greater the more you make yourself smaller. And this was something very hard for me to do at the very beginning, because I had such a strong ego. I was working in a company, I was managing people, and I was always directing a show. And the fact of stopping directing the show and just letting someone else doing this in my life was so hard. But then, yeah, I started doing this, and I felt so much relief, because what I'm asking every day, when in the morning I'm doing my third and my seventh step prayer, it's really that I can be an instrument through which my high power can shine. I'm not asking my high power to make myself a fabulous person and the most perfect woman in the world, because I'm not. I'm still having a lot of character defect, and I'm sure that my high power will use them all the time to make what he wants, and that is not what I want. And they will come up all the time. I want to make myself free from this character defect just by working the program. I will just make myself an instrument to my higher power to really do what he wants in my life. And I know that whatever it comes really comes for me and not to me. So I really left this idea that I'm a victim of situation and people and whatever it comes, because it's not. It's just what I need. Whatever it comes, it what I need. And was something so hard for me to understand at the very beginning. But I really do believe that this program, it's really a matter of practice, and like everything is entering inside of you little by little. And for me, it was really like starting doing some stuff every day, like praying in the morning, calling other people, sharing with my sponsor, working 10 steps when I need to work 10 steps. And also doing my meditation in the evening, and my 11th step, it's very important for me. Being grateful. This is something also that was so difficult for me. And my sponsor really obliged me to send him 10 gratitudes every night since the very beginning. I start work with him, because actually I was not a grateful person, and today I am, because I have an amazing life, I will say, and I have a job, I have a house, I have little friends in the fellowship, I have a sober life, which is all I need. And even if tomorrow all the things I have right now won't be here anymore, it's fine, because that's what I need. And the fact that whatever is coming, it's fine, because that's what I need. And sometimes it's not easy. There are, of course, a very, very tough day for me, in which I cry, in which I feel angry with my high power because of something, of course. But I'm trying to ask him, my high power, why are you putting myself in this situation? What do you want me to do now? And I try to stay as much as I can in the present moment and ask him each second, so what do you want me to do next? What do you want me to do now? I'm not trying to project myself in a future, or I don't stress because maybe something is not going as I want. I try to stay as much as I can in the present with God, because that's the only things I can do to stay sober. I don't have any other choice. I'm not coming here because because I don't know, because it's fun, or I'm coming. Yeah, of course now it's also fun, but I'm coming back in the room because there is nothing else I can do. Sometimes when I'm going to meeting and I'm listening to people and someone say, today I choose to not to drink, I'm asking myself, how can it be this possible that you can choose to do not drink? Because I cannot. If this will be possible, I will probably go outside and have an amazing life without coming back in AA all the time, without working with a sponsor, without working with some sponsee. So it's really like, it's not a choice. I don't have a choice. I have a sickness that will stay with me for the rest of my life, and I don't have any other treatment. I have just to come back here, and that's what I need. And of course, there are lot of other things that maybe um, we can experience. For example, I work a lot of therapy for other stuff, and that's good. But as an alcoholic, what I am, because I am an alcoholic and I will be always an alcoholic, the only things I can do is to come back here, to share, to listen, to call, to find a sponsor, to be available for other sponsees, and to be at service. This is another things that really change a lot. Now I am the program coordinator of the next ITALYPAA, which will be in Italy at the beginning of June. And being at service in AA really changed me also as a manager in my everyday life, because I really discover what servant leadership is, and the fact of being at service to people. It's so useful and important, and it's much more important the way you make people feel that the outcome that you reach. And this is something that the fellowship teach me, and the service teach me. And it's so good, the fact also to rotate, no, and to do stuff that, you know, you do some stuff for a while, but then you go and you do something else, you know, you just leave it to someone else. This is amazing, the fact of not attaching to something, to a position. And yeah, I think that AA gave me a lot, and I'm very grateful for being here. And thank you very much for inviting me. I hope I said enough and I wasn't too long or too short. Anyway, I'll pass.